Welcome to Off the Roster, brought to you by our founding partner, Proline. Betting on Proline is now easier than ever with their new app. Download it today and make things interesting. I'm Lindsay Dunn. That's Dan Riccio, our pal Cabby, our third co-host of the most. He is in Italy right now covering the Olympics. We'll hear from him eventually. Yeah, I don't know how to swear in Italian, but if I could. I think it's because he's enjoying life too much and eating some pasta, but we'll hear from him soon enough. But before we get to anything, yes, huge Blue Jays news, which we will break down. We have a lot of Raptors news. There's hockey news. Do you remember the debate from maybe like 10, 20, 700 years ago about the black and gold dress, or was it black and blue or white and gold dress, Dan?
It was a black and blue. Yeah. What color is this dress? Black and blue, white and gold. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
It took the internet by storm. And for anyone joining us right now on YouTube, and if you are listening anywhere, you can join the conversation in the chat on YouTube underneath the Nation Network where we are live. We need to discuss your shirt because
Why is that?
I said to you, I'm pretty sure this is a gray shirt. And when we will not tell the color to anyone right now, when you told me the color, I'm like, there's no way that that's gray. Or not gray.
Okay, so the color is, if you're watching along on YouTube, you may have a thought on what color the shirt is. You can let us know in the chat, but I'm not going to reveal this just yet. We'll see who gets it right in the chat.
I think you were lying to me when you told me the actual color of it, and I am upset about it, and I am just like, absolutely not. I know that it's on Wednesday. We wear pink, and you are not wearing pink, and it's not the color that you said. But anyways, gray area indeed. But let's talk about the...
Lindsay went full Brad Pitt in the movie Seven. You lie! You're a liar! Shut up! Yeah, that's exactly how it went in the pre-show meeting.
Yeah, I think I shocked, like, wait, what? No, I'm like, are you pulling my chain right now? It makes no sense to me at all. But things that don't make sense to me, what's happening in Blue Jays land? I am so excited because today officially pitchers and catchers reporting to Dunn, Florida. But unfortunately, we have a lot of injury news that have come out of the Blue Jays camp ahead of today, and we'll hear from head coach John Schneider about all those injury updates.
A couple of injury updates off the top before we get rolling. I got three ones for you. Starting with Bowden Francis. He's going to undergo UCL reconstruction surgery, and he's going to miss this entire season. He's going to have that tomorrow with Dr. Meister. Anthony Santander. He's going to undergo left labral surgery tomorrow with Dr. Meister, and be out for approximately 5 or 6 months. And Shane Bieber will kind of have his ramp up be a little bit delayed, dealing with some right forearm fatigue. He's currently feeling good. We're going to be extra cautious with him. He's playing catch, but he won't be ready to start the season.
Yeah. So we heard this yesterday in a media availability over Zoom yesterday with John Schneider, and I will say, shocked, disappointed, anger, the emotions that Toronto Blue Jays fans feeling after hearing that Tony Taters will be out 5 to 6 months getting shoulder surgery today. Disappointing news to say the least. After last season, he was plagued by injuries. He was unable to play in the World Series. Obviously, this is a tough blow for him, but also for the Toronto Blue Jays organization. Fans furious online and in person. This is what everyone is talking about now going into the Blue Jays spring training. Dan, when you saw that he's going to be out 5 to 6 months with shoulder surgery, what are your thoughts on this?
I am not happy. If you're a Jays fan, it's like March or the spring training is supposed to be new beginnings. All right, okay, we're going to build off last year. We were 1 win away from the World Series. We lost Bo Bichette. But you know what? Hey, there's just no way Anthony Santander cannot be worse than he was a year ago. He's going to have a massive bounce back season. That's going to help fill the boots of Bo Bichette now that he's a New York Met. Well, no, because it's Anthony Santan can't stay on the fields there anymore because he's been injured since signing his $90 million+ contract with the Blue Jays. And now, they lost Bo Bichette. They didn't, sure, you added Kazuma Okamoto, but I mean, this offense kind of needed, we talked about this, Linz, in December, like this offense kind of needed a bounce back year from Santander. And, maybe it happens, but he's not coming back until August. So now you've got some things to figure out.
Yeah, things to figure out indeed. I remember saying on this show how, people are really upset that they weren't able to sign a big bat and that Bo Bichette went to the Mets. But if you even got Tony Taters for 1% better from what we saw last year, that this would be a massive upgrade. And that was my little silver lining looking at this. Like, okay, you know what? There's no way he can have a worse season than last year. And I feel like I jinxed the team and the organization by saying this. It's absolutely disheartening. But when you look at all of this, Tony Taters was out for quite a bit of the season last year. He was not able to play in the World Series. He was left off the roster because of injury. And then you even look at Bo Bichette. Yes, he was a huge reason the Toronto Blue Jays had the record that they did, but he was not able to play until the World Series when they were in the playoffs. So still have hope, my friends. I understand how frustrating this is. And I understand the frustration with GM Ross Atkins, because they're asked like, hey, who are you looking at potentially replacing Tony Taters, especially when it comes to a big bat? Are you guys looking at people still on the market? Here's what he had to say to the media.
I mean, that's obviously disappointing news, but we have built the organization and team and planned for setbacks and planned for disappointment to overcome, to make sure that we're in a good position and feel that we can do so. As far as who is specifically going to replace that, similar to last year, different guys will have to step up when Varsh was down, when Hemi was down, when Tony was down for the bulk of the season. We had different guys step up, and that versatility that we have and hopefully the depth that we have, will be able to do that again.
That's a very Ross Atkins answer. That's a very Ross Atkins answer. Like, Ross, you're not making me feel more confident going into the season now, Ross. Thanks a lot for that. And look, okay. The Blue Jays deserve, kidding aside, they've earned a pretty large leash. They've earned the benefit of the doubt here. They still have a very good roster. All of these things are true when it comes to this conversation. But I had question marks about the offense before the Santander injury and who is going to fill those shoes. You have to look at the whole picture, right? And okay, George Springer, incredible year last year. Again, one of the best age 35 seasons any player has had in Major League Baseball history. Can he do that again at age 36? That's a big question mark. Guys like Barger and Lucas and Schneider, you're going to need them to take even bigger steps this year and be bigger parts of the offense, or at least be exactly what they were last year for this team. So, you're kind of putting the pieces together. You still see a very good roster, but guess what? The Red Sox got better. The Yankees are still really good. And the Orioles got a lot better. So the AL Beast is all coming for the Blue Jays, who've got a massive target on their back, and they've got some questions. They're absolutely going to have to address the offense at some point, and it's just probably going to come via trade as we get closer to the deadline in the summer.
I know another storyline was Kazuma Okamoto. He does not have his visa yet to, enter into the States and all this. He is expected to join the team this weekend during spring training. I'm like, oh man, visa issues are so much fun for everybody. But I can't wait to see how he will impact this team. Justin Smoke was on the podcast 6 Inning Stretch that I co-host with former Blue Jay Whit Merrifield. And he used to play with him for a brief moment in Japan with the Giants, and he says, like, the guy's ready to play. He is going to be a force. So I can't wait to see how he is going to play with the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm also interested to hear what our guest has to say all about this. Friend of both of ours, it's Rob Wong, digital sports editor for Postmedia, host of, wait for it, WWE, NHL, MLB, NBA, NFL video content for the Toronto Sun. What's up, Rob? Good morning, buddy.
Good. What's going on, guys? Yeah, I have a long title, which is just kind of needless, even though I selected it myself, but it's true. I kind of talk about all that stuff. And as Dan would know from our radio backgrounds, you kind of have to talk about everything. So I am used to discussing everything under the sun, and even Olympics right now. I guess I forgot to throw that in the title as well.
Well, that is my fault. I knew you were also talking Olympics. That is my bad, but we will start off talking about the Toronto Blue Jays, and then we will also talk about everything else under the sun, sports related or not. Your reaction when you saw the injury update from the Toronto Blue Jays, because so many times last season, I remember standing with you on the field, looking at the roster that was out there and being like, oh, I cannot wait until Tony Taters is feeling better and the impact he can have at the plate. So what was your reaction when you saw that he will be out for almost 6 months?
Well, there's a GIF that I always love using when things are going really bad in Toronto sports with any team, and it's the Dumb and Dumber. We got no food, we got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off. Like that's, I think, how a lot of people felt yesterday. It's not full on that because it's still, spring training, of course. Pitchers and catchers just reporting today, but it wasn't good news, that's for sure. I think a lot of people were expecting Anthony Santander to be somewhat of a player coming into this season. It was such a disaster for him a year ago in the first year of that deal. But on top of that, you get the Bowden Francis news and, of course, the Shane Bieber news. It's nothing new, of course. We heard, earlier this offseason that he was dealing with forearm fatigue, and his status was sort of, I think it was week to week at the time when the Blue Jays spoke to about it. But hearing now that he's likely to start the season on the IL, that's not great, but it really gives you much more clarity now that, okay, that's why he took the player option. That's why he wasn't willing to go to free agency and maybe have to take a physical with another team. He was a little bit concerned about that. So, it's not full on panic when it comes to Shane Bieber just yet, but it makes a lot of sense now why the Blue Jays went out and got the likes of Cody Ponce and, wanted to go with this 6-man rotation, at least for a while there before we got the Bieber news. So it's all making a lot more sense now.
I want to have a bit of a round table conversation with all of us. I know we all adore the Jays. We follow the Jays. So Dan, Rob just mentioned the panic meter with Shane Bieber. Where is your panic meter at with Shane Bieber?
It's starting to tick up a little bit more and more as we get closer to spring training here. Like, this is the one thing I'm maybe less worried about, though, actually, because you signed Cody Ponce, you signed Dylan Cease, so you actually have all of the depth that you would need. The question was on the pitching front that the Blue Jays, what are they going to do with all these guys? They've got Tiedemann coming back, and they've got Barrios that they haven't dealt with yet. And just turns out like now you're going to have spots for them, even with the Bowden Francis and obviously the Shane Bieber news. So that's good news. But at the same time, like Bieber did leave some potential on the board, right? Like it felt good when he was starting to ramp up after they acquired him from Cleveland. And I want to see what that can be, because if the Jays, as the season develops, it's like, I want to see that 3-headed monster at the top of the rotation, if that can be how it plays out with Gausman, Cease, and you got to think about Savage as well. And also Bieber. I mean, think about that. If they can get that to its ceiling potential going down the stretch of the year and potentially into the playoffs, that's where the real potential of this Blue Jays team comes in.
Well, Rob, when we talk about potential and everything that happened in the offseason, do you think the miss on Kyle Tucker feels bigger now that we've learned about these injuries for the Jays?
Yeah, it looms large very much for this Blue Jays team now, because I think even, before we heard the Anthony Santander news, you felt like this team could use another big bat, and the Blue Jays tried. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that they gave it their best shot on Kyle Tucker, and he ultimately goes on to take one of the most unprecedented contracts in the history of Major League Baseball, so you don't really blame the guy. But, with the loss of Bo Bichette as well, Kazuma Okamoto comes in, and you hope he can provide a level of offense that Bo provided you. But this offense, still is without another big bat. And at the very least, you want a bat that's consistent and then you feel that you can rely on. I did, mention yesterday on Twitter about the fact that maybe there is a silver lining here with the Santander news, and that's Davis Schneider getting an opportunity here. He's not a perfect player by any means. He still strikes out a lot, but he's going to walk a ton. And you hope now with this ABS system coming in, he's, been one of the better players at it down in the minor leagues, and he's got a great eye at the plate. So he's got some pop. He's got some power. So maybe he gets an opportunity here to fill in for Santander, and he can put up, some pretty decent numbers here. So I think I'm interested to see how that works out. And look, the season hasn't even started yet. We still got the trade deadline coming up. There's still potential for moves that the Blue Jays can make to bring in a bat, but to at least start the season, the offense, you feel like there's still maybe something missing here. So they're still going to be a good team. I don't want to go as far as to say, all of a sudden this is a team that can't challenge for the American League championship yet again. That they can on paper. You look around the rest of the league, and there's still a lot of teams with question marks, even in the teams in their own division. While the Yankees, Red Sox and Orioles are formidable foes, there's still, some spots on those rosters where you have some questions about. So the Blue Jays, they're in a spot now where they just need some things to break their way. And a lot of things broke their way a year ago. So you hope that trend continues.
Yeah. And on the Tucker thing, it's just like, it's not like they didn't try, right? They gave him an unbelievable offer, over $300 million. It's just like, who was expecting him to get 60 sheets from the LA Dodgers as an offer over 4 years? I mean, it was an unprecedented deal when they gave it to Tucker, and that's what the Blue Jays missed out on. I know some people in the chat have thrown out the Bellinger comment as well, and I don't know, Rob, like from my perspective, it just felt like, although they were like dancing around it all offseason for the longest time, Bellinger and the Yankees were going to reunite. It was just a matter of when, not if. And the Blue Jays too, like they've had chances to sign Bellinger the last few off seasons and never really went after it all that hard. So it just never felt like Bellinger was a true option for the Jays as much as people wanted it to be, I guess.
I agree with you there. Right, I don't think. Sorry, go ahead, Lindsay.
Nope, guess first.
Oh, I was just going to say I agree with Dan. I mean, I just don't think Cody Bellinger was going to be a real option for the Jays. There was reports out there that they had a level of interest, but he's a guy that, again, is an imperfect player. He's really strong defender. He hits from the left side. He's got some pop, but you look at the numbers last year, he didn't fare particularly well on the road, and he's a guy that's had some inconsistent years. So he's not a bad player by any means, but for the amount of money and the contract that he ultimately got from the Yankees, I don't think the Blue Jays were willing to go there on a guy like him.
I think it's such an interesting storyline now going into spring training, how this news about the injuries, it's, hey, the sky is falling, the Tony Taters news, the Bieber news, Bowden Francis being out for a year. But when you look at everything, they were discounted, and nobody thought they would be in the World Series. And when they got to the World Series, every round in the playoffs, so many people that cover the league, especially in the States, fan bases, even some Jays fans were skeptical that they would get past each round and about this player and who they are. I'm thinking of how hungry these players are coming to spring training. They all have a chip on their shoulder. They want to get back to the World Series, and they want to win it for themselves and for the country. They are so motivated. We see the whole Vladdy update, which Dan and I joked about last episode before we actually taped, how there always seems to be a Vladdy update on how fit he is looking going into the season. So Rob, what are your feelings right now? How are you feeling about the Toronto Blue Jays? Yes, I understand the Tony Tater news and all that, but a lot of those guys improved so much last season, and I just feel like they're going into the season even more hungry.
Yeah, I think once you get a taste of that type of run to a World Series, you can never get it out of your mouth until you finally reach the top of the mountain. So I'm sure there's a ton of motivation for a lot of these guys, and especially with the way it ended, so heartbreaking. One of the more heartbreaking losses, I would say, in Toronto sports history in Game 7 against the LA Dodgers. But I think what you also learned from what we saw last year is just how incredibly difficult it is to even get to that point. So I think, that is always going to linger as well for Jays fans and for Jays players, that, you play 162 games and then you play all these playoff games, and all you have to do is think about the ups and downs during the postseason as well for them to get to where they got to. So, the Dodgers getting to back-to-back World Series and winning it all, I mean, that's just such an anomaly, and it doesn't happen very often in any sport. So, for the Blue Jays to get back there, I mentioned it earlier, a lot of things broke their way last year. They're going to have to break their way again this year, because baseball is such a random sport, and so many different things can happen throughout a season. It's going to be fun to watch the Blue Jays and see if they can get back to where they got a year ago, and maybe they're the one lifting the Commissioner's Trophy by the end of it.
Man, you talk about the heartbreak of Game 7, Rob, and I'm like, which is the bigger heartbreak, the Andy Pages catch or IKF not making it to home plate? And IKF has to bring it back up now that he's a Boston Red Sox. Yesterday, as he reports to spring training, and he's just like, hey, nobody was there with a microphone and ready to ask me after the game. Like, man, look at you passing the buck real quick, man. There's not a player I'm ready to hate more than IKF for this season. Especially now that he's a Red Sox.
Can I stop both of you for a second? Because I know Rob was there. That is such BS by IKF, which we know. I'm an IKF defender. I've reached out also to his agent multiple times for the different shows that I work for, offering for him to come on the show, saying like it's a safe place if he wants to offer his take. Hell, he could have even went on this thing called social media, which I know he uses because we were looking at it every day to see if anything would be posted. He was in Hawaii working out and training. If he wanted to air or issue his own side of the story, he's had the last couple of months to do it. So I'm going to say BS, because I know multiple other reporters also reached out to his camp for comment. So that is not the reason why they lost the World Series, is what I'm going to say. They still had multiple chances, as I still defend him, but I will not defend that crap, because he had the opportunity to talk to the media after. He also had the opportunity to either issue a statement or go on any of the shows that were asking for him to speak. So that is what I'll say on that. But Rob, what did you have to say also about him saying that the Jays were happy to take on the Yankees because they were an easier opponent?
Well, look, I won't disagree with your thoughts there, and he's had opportunity to bring this up before, but I will say we always knock athletes for not being honest and giving us the company line and just saying, oh yeah, we would have been happy playing anybody, and here's a guy that comes in and says, well, actually, we would have preferred the Yankees over the Red Sox. So I do appreciate that, but what I will also say is that if there is someone that you would ever want to give a secret to, IKF might be the worst guy, because I don't think anybody in the Blue Jays clubhouse wanted this stuff to get out. And if you remember as well, he's the one that leaked that Bo Bichette's injury, the knee injury last year, was a lot worse than we had anticipated. He's the one that's like, oh yeah, he's not going to be back for a while. But we're hoping to get to the postseason and, do it for him. And everybody was like, wait a second. We thought it was supposed to be just like a week-to-week thing. And of course, Bo Bichette didn't come back until the World Series. So IKF, he's a great dude. I've had a chance to interact with him before, but maybe not the best at keeping secrets, unfortunately.
He's not Johnny Tight Lips over there. I ain't saying nothing. No, that's not it's not IKF. The chat has brought this up, and I hadn't really thought about it until now, and maybe it's still early days. But Anthony Santander, or as I coined him earlier in the show, Anthony Santan can't stay on the field there. It's now year 2, awful year 1. He's going to miss most of this season. Like, this is starting to line up as maybe the worst free agent signing in Blue Jays history. The chat is asking, could he be the worst signing in Blue Jays history?
Oh man,
it's early days on it. It's early days. It's not looking good. Yeah.
I think. Look, the unfortunate part is that it was a freak thing, right? Him diving into the stands there in Anaheim, I think it was, and then hurting his shoulder, and then everything that has happened since. I don't think anyone could have predicted that. Now, he wasn't playing great before the injury either. So I think, that has left a sour taste in Blue Jays fans' mouths, that the only real moment I think anyone had with him last year was maybe the big home run against the Red Sox during the regular season, I think tied a game. And then he had a big hit, in the ALDS against the Yankees to help drive in some runs. But other than that, I mean, there's really no standout moment for Anthony Santander. So I personally haven't seen the chat yet. Has there been any David Clarkson mentions? Because obviously that's a contract that really stands out in Toronto sports history. But It's tough. I mean, he's expected to be coming back in 5 to 6 months, and at that point, we'll see what he has. But there's still a lot of time left to go on this deal, so it is possible that he could come out of it. I don't think anyone expected George Springer to come out of 2024 as anything close to resembling what we saw a year ago. So I won't completely write it off and say this is the worst contract in Blue Jays history, but there's no doubt about it that it's not off to a very good start at all.
Yeah. And the one thing on that is like there's not a lot. Not a lot of really terrible signings in Blue Jays history. Like thinking about it, even BJ Ryan, like I know nobody really loved that. So, like at the end of it, it was like, man, that was rough. But he had 2 really good seasons with the Jays at the same time. Tanner Roark maybe is the one in recent memory that was really, really awful. But there's just not a lot of like free agent signings, big free agent signings that the Jays completely whiffed on.
Yeah, this is definitely the worst one. But you mentioned Tanner Roark. That's a good one. I totally forgot about the guy. What is it? Something about is it like Big Diesel or something? There was something about something about fuel. I can't remember the exact line, but it was like, okay, this is weird. That one didn't work out for sure. That's a good one.
Rob, you know that I live in La La Land, and the problem with why I would never ever get a job as a team's GM is because I'm too emotionally invested as the players as people. And so Max Scherzer, awesome human being, unique athlete. Chris Bassett, leader in that clubhouse, amazing guy, really funny, and proved that he would do whatever it took to win, including coming out of the bullpen for the first time in many years. What is a more realistic option? Me shaving my head or Chris Bassett potentially coming back to the Blue Jays?
I was not sure where you were going with that. The head shaving thing was maybe the last reference I thought you would make. So just for your sake, Lindsay, because you're on camera all the time, and I think maybe Chris Bassett coming back is more likely. I said it yesterday. I'm stunned that he hasn't signed anywhere. That a team hasn't taken a shot on him. He's been durable pretty much his entire career. He's a guy that's a great clubhouse, culture guy, and we saw last year he's willing to pitch out of the bullpen. And not sure how many starters of his ilk and his caliber are willing to do that. And he was great at it for the Blue Jays in the playoff run as well. So maybe there's a chance that he could return. We haven't heard too much on that. I think we've actually heard more rumors about Max Scherzer maybe coming back to the Blue Jays as a mid-season option, which is something we saw David Robertson, the reliever, do a year ago, where he joined the Phillies, I believe, in the middle of the season. He kind of just took a bit of a break and was waiting for an opportunity to open up. So maybe Max Scherzer is the guy that could come back as well. But I would say out of the two, Chris Bassett would be my preferred option. But maybe he's someone that's still looking for an opportunity where he gets a chance to start every 5 days. And right now, with the way this Blue Jays team is now, we mentioned it, there's too many spots filled up right now. So maybe there's not a spot. But Chris Bassett would be a great option. I just don't really see it right now.
I don't want to shave my head, but thank you for answering that. It's like there was a moment of hope, but you're right. It was so good, and he showed how great he is, especially last season, and what he'd be willing to do to win. So I also am really surprised that a team has not picked him up, because he's still got so much left in the tank. Speaking about things left in the tank, were either of you surprised by the $13 million 1-year deal with the Tigers for one Mr. Justin Verlander? I guess we will start guess first, Rob, if you have any take on that.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I always love it when, players go back to teams that they've played with before, and there's some history, and maybe they left on good terms, maybe even if they left on bad terms. It's kind of cool to see a reunion like that. It's wild that he is still, pitching. There was a stretch there for a bit where it looked like he was absolutely cooked, and that was the end of Justin Verlander. But he has found a way to keep things going and be a productive major league pitcher. And look, he's going on a team that's gonna just moonwalk to the AL Central title. Like I'm not sure which of the other teams is really going to compete with them. Like Cleveland, of course, they had their great run, their unbelievable September that got them to the top of that division. But that's a once in a lifetime kind of run that they had to get there. So yeah, it's cool for him to get an opportunity and to have some of these moments. Very nostalgic for him and for these Tigers fans. So I like it.
Yeah, Justin Verlander. I don't know. He's trying to do the Jamie Moyer thing. He's just going to pitch forever. But Jamie Moyer, he was just like he was one of a kind. Okay, final one for you, at least for me, Rob. This season, the off season, Yankees. You could say they got better. They're getting Garrett Cole back. The Red Sox, they've gotten better this offseason. The Orioles for sure have gotten better. A lot of people saying that they had one of the better off seasons in all of baseball. So I know it's February 11th and way too early for predictions of any kind, but how much of a target do the Jays have on their back in the AL Beast? It is not going to be easy to repeat as champions of the division.
Yeah, this is going to be a mess, right? Like there's just going to be like 12 rounds slobber knocker series like all year round, I'm pretty sure. I mean, the AL East has been a challenge for the longest time, but right now with the way the Red Sox have improved their team, the Orioles you mentioned, the Yankees are getting Garrett Cole back and they're going to be good, and the Blue Jays are good. Like I honestly could not, really figure out who I would put at the top of the division right now. I'm not sure there's a clear-cut, favorite. Had the Blue Jays signed Kyle Tucker, I probably would have put them there. But since they didn't, I do have questions about the offense and some regression that could be coming for a few of these players. But, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and God, I don't want to say it, but even the Orioles, like they've improved to the point where I think they're going to be a threat. I wouldn't be shocked if any of these teams finish first, and I wouldn't be shocked if any of these teams finish fourth. Like, I don't know if that's a cop-out answer, but I think it's the truth. Like, they all project very similarly to be in sort of that, 85 to 91 win kind of range, and it's going to come down to health. I think that's really it, right? Whoever stays the healthiest is going to have the best shot to win this division. And, the Blue Jays, for the most part, have done a pretty good job of keeping their star players on the field the last couple of years. So maybe they have the leg up, but man, it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a really tough season for any of these teams to come out on top in the AL Beast, as you mentioned it.
AL Beast, let's go. I'm so excited. Baseball is back, baby. Rob, I have like 8,000 more questions for you, but because I know you have a life and things to do, I'm going to do 3 more questions, one inspired by the chat. Rob bringing up, hey, is Alejandro Kirk going to be the slowest player in the league? One of my favorite moments from last season was when Kirky stole his first base ever in Major League Baseball, and then they took the base, got it authenticated, and he took the base home. Watching him walk out of that clubhouse with the base, highlight of the season. But for you, I saw you so many times at the games. Did you have a favorite moment that was not playoff related? Or you can answer it this way. Is there a player that you're hoping to see a nice breakout season from? Because Kirky, again, had a great year. So you can answer either question.
Yeah, look, to be honest with you, the playoffs, the moments in the playoffs were just so monumental that they kind of wiped out every memory I had of the regular season. So I'm like trying to rack my brain and go back to a regular season moment, and I can't really think of one. I mean, I guess the George Springer home run on Canada Day, like the red jerseys, that's an iconic moment. That I think people will remember forever. Like Luke Weaver is going to have nightmares about that for the rest of his life. And every time July 1st rolls around, he's going to be losing his mind thinking about that. But I think that one probably stands out. And if we're just, I'll answer both for breakout player. I'm going to take David Schneider. I mentioned him earlier. I think a guy with some more opportunity here, could do something pretty special this year. He's already done it in, years past. Everybody remembers his rookie season, really burst onto the scene and became a fan favorite. But I think he's got a chance here with some additional playing time to really become a key player for this offense.
Big fan of Schneebs, Mr. Schneebly, or whatever that nickname is that's from School of Rock that he has. I've not watched that movie yet. But anybody that doesn't follow you on social media should. So I want you to give a shout out to your social media handles. But every time I also see you at a game, I ask you, hey, who are you going to interview today? I love your series talking about sports cards collections and collectibles. Can you talk about some of the interviews you had throughout the season? Because for those people that may not have watched them or read about them or whatever it may be, it is fascinating. And I love seeing that side of professional athletes.
Well, I appreciate you bringing it up. It's something that I've been really passionate about, card collecting, and I'll just mention it here that Dan and I, we met years ago at a card store. I didn't even know who Dan was at that point, but I
Yes.
used to visit this local card store in Ontario here, and I remember going in one day, and the guy that worked there, also named Dan, he was like, "Hey, I want you to meet Dan here. He's a radio student, and he's getting into the industry, and like I know you do it, like you want to talk to him." And I remember talking to Dan, but sorry, Dan, I forgot about that conversation. But years later, when we started working together, he brought it up, and I was like, "Oh my god, yeah, I do remember that." So Dan Riccio and I actually met each other before we ever started working together. So Dan, I know, has an appreciation for collecting and sports cards as well. But yeah, it's been cool to talk to Major League Baseball players about their sports card collecting. There's a lot of guys in the game that are huge collectors right now. I mean, Mike Trout, I got a chance to talk with him last year. That was just cool to be able to speak with him about something non-baseball, but it's something that's very close to his heart. Bobby Witt I've talked to in the past, Corbin Carroll of the Arizona Diamondbacks last year as well. Like, all of these guys are super into this. So you can find it on my socials, mainly on Twitter. I refuse to call it the other letter, but Rob Wong 34 is where you can find it. And yeah, it's hopefully going to continue this year. I've got some guys that I'm thinking about chatting with coming up this season to see if they'll talk to me about it. But most likely, they're generally good about it. I had one player just be like, "Yeah, I don't do that anymore, and I'm not interested." And I was like, "All right, like that's cool with me." But I feel like it's a topic that a lot of guys are willing to chat about, because it's not the typical, hey, you went 2 for 4, or how's your season going? Like, it's their hobbies and things that they're really passionate about. So I appreciate that they're willing to give me the time, and yeah, we'll see what happens this year.
I love it. I think I run at you when I see you at the ballpark on the field every time to be like, "Who are you interviewing today?" And I get so excited for you. But when we talk about the actual cards, I only learned this other day from Whit Merrifield. You guys may have already known this. They have absolutely no say on the photo that's on their card, or for the most part, the information. And I brought this up because Pascal Siakam, former Raptor, now Pacer, they put the All-Star patch on his jersey the other day, then took the patch off, put it on a card, and shipped it out. It's like, I have no say in what my picture looks like, because there's some doozies, or really what they put in it. Did you guys know this beforehand?
Dan, you want to go?
Yeah, I knew it. I mean, it's just the PA just basically sends out the money, and it's like they get total autonomy over, and the card companies get whatever they want to throw out there. They get it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for a lot of these guys, because some of the pictures are pretty bad, to be honest. There's a famous one, you can go look it up, but Paul Blackburn, who's a former pitcher with the A's, I think he's pitching now with the Yankees. One of his cards is basically him at his locker looking at his phone. Like, he's just doom scrolling, and that's the photo they put on a card. So it's kind of an iconic one if you know baseball cards and you're really kind of deep into the weeds with it. But yeah, it's unfortunate for some of these guys, because the pictures are not the most flattering.
No, and I'm a jerk and brought them up. I made Whit go through them one by one. I'm like, "You right now look like 800 pounds more than you actually are." I'm like, "Your eye is half closed. This one, I know you actually missed the play." So I'm like, "Can you sign this for me?" But I did not know. So Rob, again, you are a legend. We appreciate your time. I can't wait to see all the interviews that you get this season from the Toronto Blue Jays and their opponents, but also your card of the day that you post on your socials. But the last question we have for you: what color do you think Dan's shirt is?
Oh man, just from the looks of it, it looks kind of gray. That's my guess, but I'm not too great at these. I think sometimes I do look at colors and I'm like, yeah, is it blue? Is it gray? But I'm gonna go with gray. But based on Dan's face, it doesn't look like it's gray, is it?
Yeah, no, it's it's definitely like lavender. Yes.
Yeah. Because I told him, like, "Oh, this is the first time I've ever seen you wear gray." And he told me it's lavender. I'm like, "Are you lying to me? Why are you lying to me? I thought we were friends." So thank you for always being a man of reason. We appreciate you, Rob Wong, digital sports editor for Postmedia, host of WWE, NHL, MLB, NBA, NFL, and Olympic video content for the Toronto Sun. Our friend, thank you for joining us today, buddy.
Thanks, Rob.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
Absolutely.
One of the best guys around, Rob Wong.
Oh, and just so nice. And I'm not joking. I run at him when I see him at the ballpark because he's similar to me where, yeah, we're not going to ask the everyday X's and O question of the game, because when you're there every day, the players also will start to hate you if you're grilling them on that every day and there's no updates. So I'm always so fascinated to hear what the players have to say, because, hey, maybe you're listening or watching. Let us know if you're a card collector. And yes, Mel in the chat let me know that she came to a signing that Whit and I had for 6-inning stretch and brought some of those interesting cards that Whit had to sign, and it made my whole freaking day. But Dan.
Yes.
We need to talk about trading cards within the NBA. I actually have a lot of NBA and MLB trading cards and sports cards, but
you do?
Yeah, I do. And it's just yeah, everything I own is in storage though, because I just don't have enough room, and it feels like the walls are collapsing because I have so much garbage. Yeah. But there are 14 games in the NBA today, including the Detroit Pistons taking on the Toronto Raptors. We are still waiting, and I'm going to quickly hit refresh and stall for a moment to make sure that the league has not laid down the hammer on who is going to be out for the Pistons tonight. And the refresh is no, because we are still waiting to see who could potentially be suspended. We possibly are going to see a player get 25 games because why? Well, Isaiah Stewart left the bench during the brawl in Charlotte. He is now a multiple-time offender for joining brawls and leaving the bench, so he could get up to 25 games. Now, Detroit, a team
can't trust somebody with two first names, Linz. Yeah. This is the problem.
Number one rule in our show: don't trust people with two first names. I need to remember this for our next guest. This is an interesting game tonight. Both teams will be without players. We know the CMB will not be playing. Jakob Poeltl is listed as questionable. I personally would like him to not come back till after the All-Star game. I know he's looking great. He's reconditioning. He's on the court, but give him a little bit more time so when he is back, we see the full impact of Yak. When you look at this game tonight, how big of a test do you think this is for the Toronto Raptors, and how much weight are you putting into it?
Well, we'll see what it looks like once the lineups are there, but I think any game the Raptors play against a top 10 team for the remainder of the season is a big game to me, because these are the only teams the Raptors have struggled to beat this year. Yes, they've had an incredible year, 32 wins. They only had 30 last year. They got 2 guys going to the All-Star game, plus a bunch of their young guys playing in the Rising Stars. This is, all in all, a really good season, and a season everybody should be proud of to this stage. But as we try to find where the ceiling is of this Raptors team, they need to start beating the teams above them in the standings. They are 0 for 6 in games against the Celtics and Knicks this year. The Pistons, they've got to get their opportunity here tonight. They've played and won 1 game against a team that's in the top 10 across the NBA, Eastern or Western Conference. That is the OKC Thunder. You know, yes, when they beat the Cleveland Cavaliers earlier this season and swept them in the season series, Cleveland had a bunch of guys out. So you weren't beating the real Cavaliers. I don't want to take anything away from the Raptors. I know everything I'm saying is kind of taking things away from the Raptors, but I want to know how they can compete and what they could look like if they get into a series with one of these upper echelon teams in the Eastern Conference. Because right now, to what we've seen so far this season, it's hard to have confidence given they've struggled so much against the top teams in the East.
And then when it comes to the East, right now, the Pistons are 5.5 games ahead of the Celtics first in the East. Raptors 10 games above 500 going into the All-Star break after tonight. And I know a lot of people, the storyline right now going into tonight's game is, for the most part, don't play too crazy. Let's have a quick game, let them rest a little bit, come back out of the All-Star game and be firing on all cylinders. But you're taking in, and rather a team that, like you mentioned, Dan, this is a big test for the Toronto Raptors. No matter who is in on either side, you want to see that they have the grit to take on this team and actually take on the top competitor in the East, a Detroit team that got a lot of criticism going into the trade deadline for not addressing a lot of areas, but they did address the perimeter shooting, which was one of their biggest weaknesses. I'm curious to see how the matchups will play tonight and the energy that the Pistons will be bringing in, because a lot of people calling them the bad boys are back in the Detroit area. They have a lot of momentum. They have a lot of energy going into tonight's game, and those physical games, how it will play in the Raptors mentality. We have seen it take a toll sometime, but then you see players like Jamal Shed being like, I am not having any of this SHIT, and I'm excited for this game. I think it's going to be physical. I'm hoping we're seeing a lot of threes rain down from the Raptors. It's going to be a great test no matter how many players are going to be out on the Pistons side, because they will have, for the most part, that core team. We are hoping for a big game from Brandon Ingram, because maybe you don't know this yet, but he is heading back to the All-Star game. It was announced that Steph Curry will not be able to play, dealing with some injuries. So Brandon Ingram listed as a replacement. And there's a great video posted on their social. Here's just a still of the emotions when he found out in practice yesterday afternoon. Look at Darko's face.
Oh my God, that's incredible. He's so happy. Darko is fired up. Look at how happy Darko is. Man, he's like a happy father right there.
So happy. And you remember that moment where during the game, Scotty Barnes was announced as an all-star reserve and that he was going to play in the All-Star game. You saw the first thing Darko do is he went and spoke to Brandon Ingram, being like, use this as a chip on your shoulder. And he spoke to us after saying, he feels like BI should have been there. So he was so genuinely happy for him, as the rest of the organization and his teammates. So Dan, BI going to the All-Star game, aside from Darko's amazing reaction, what's your reaction on him getting to go to Los Angeles, enjoying Glorilla in LA for 3 days?
It is very deserved for BI to go to this All-Star game. He's had an unbelievable year, unbelievable bounce back, and he's earned his return to the All-Star stage. And I think my biggest takeaway from all of it is Masai Ujiri putting together this dynamic duo of Scotty Barnes and BI, both going to the All-Star game and giving the Raptors a blueprint for what could be a really exciting future around these two guys. Like, now you've got two pillars of the organization. How do they keep building around these guys? They're obviously still trying to evaluate what they have around the roster, and that's why they didn't make any big changes at this most recent trade deadline. But other teams now, you look across the league, how teams went about their trade deadline, and you saw a lot of teams outside of the playoffs, much like the Raptors were last year, going and trying to acquire their next big piece. We saw, the Indiana Pacers do that with Zubac. We saw the Atlanta Hawks going after AD and Trae Young. So teams have taken a page out of the Raptors book after seeing how successful the BI move has been for Toronto. And I think that speaks wonders to how the league looks at what the Raptors did, and it should give you confidence that the Raptors are building something pretty impressive here with this group.
Amen to that. Talk that talk, Dan. Talk that talk. Also, I need to rewind when you and Rob were talking earlier about cards. I needed to throw out a nerd alert. Someone mentioned that in the chat. Just going to rewind to that. But Brandon Ingram spoke to the media yesterday just about the moment when Bobby and them brought in Ingram. He was injured and did not play that season for New Orleans. He would not play for the Raptors for the rest of the year. But they said they wanted him to be an all-star again with the Toronto Raptors. So the fact that they were able to bring that into fruition, half a season into the first season, he was fully able to play. Yeah. Testament to him, the Raptors training staff. Alex McKechnie, we all know, is a legend when it comes to helping players get back on the court from injury. I'm excited for him to have this moment and also prove in that game where they don't do defense why he should be there. I'm looking for some great quotes from him. And then yesterday, he spoke to the media as well as Darko, because if you were not at practice, you will not know this. After they had that crazy celebration celebrating BI, they found out about 15 minutes into practice that he would be going to the All-Star game. They celebrated, and then it went off the rails. So here's Darko and BI speaking about the moment that they knew he was going to the All-Star game after all.
Yeah, we had planned some 45 minutes of practice for today. 15 minutes in, we got those news. So I brought the team together, and we really celebrated it for the moment. And we did not have good conditions to finish the practice after this, so I canceled the rest of the practice.
Darko was saying he had to cancel the rest of practice after the guys found out that you made All-Star. Take us through that. Like, what happened?
First of all, I was just standing at the scores table and he jumped on me and I didn't know what was going on. And he told me congrats. Everybody else told me congrats and I was the last one to know. And then everybody just kept jumping on me for like 5 minutes, and then after that, the emotion was too high, and he just canceled practice. And, now we're just in here shooting. We'll have shoot around tomorrow before All-Star break.
They actually did cancel practice because they couldn't get themselves back
know what?
together.
We're not in the mindset for practicing. We're in the mindset for champagne and sending BI to the All-Star game. I love that. I mean, I don't think they had the champagne. Well, maybe they did, but yeah. Practice after this? No, this is a time to celebrate. You know what? I love that. And I think that's, the old man take would be like, no, get on the court and practice. Like, you should be practicing at all hours of the day. No, you don't have to do that. Clearly this is something that means a lot to the team. And I think this has been one of, aside from the talent they've brought in, what they've got with Scotty Barnes and BI, it's like, this is what has made the Raptors so successful this year, is how tightly knit they are as a group. So I like this. It kind of sticks to the Raptors' identity of being a team as one. So that's my take on that.
I agree with you. I love that they're celebrating each other. BI could have been bitter and moped around about not being named an All-Star, which you've seen players do on other teams and organizations, but this just goes to the chemistry and vibe around this team. They are celebrating each other. They want each other to win. They want to obviously have great moments as an individual athlete, but their end goal in the end is to win. And seeing somebody get recognized, they're celebrating it for each other and with each other. I'm all in for it. I'm excited to see what they do against the Pistons tonight. Quick update on Colin Sexton, who flipped off the rim after missing a free throw. Do you remember how much William Nylander got fined for flipping off a camera on a nationally broadcast game, Dan? What was it, like
5K?
5K? Colin Sexton was fined $35,000 US for making an inappropriate gesture during the game against Brooklyn. And by that, he flipped off the rim. I thought this was hilarious, and I want it on a shirt. So I just needed an update. $35,000. I understand that NBA players get paid a lot more, but that is a steep penalty. And
it's a hefty fine.
Yeah,
I would take that to court if I were him.
Take it to NBA court. I will be curious.
Take it to Judge Judy. She can get you off, I think.
I cannot wait to see the fines.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what kind of evidence he would have against it. It's like, so here's what you did. You have anything to say for yourself? Yeah, screw the rim, man. That should have been. I should have got that bucket.
And thankfully, the rim can't sue him, because that is something the person who is in the mascot uniform from the Wizards is looking to do. After I can't remember who pushed him during that, which honestly is so dumb. I heard about this kind of stuff happening within the NBA because last year a mascot accidentally got hit by a player on one of the teams. I don't want to say what it is because somebody that works for the team told me. And the person who was the mascot wanted to sue the player, but it's like they were sitting on the floor and it was part of a game, that they could hit you. And that's like the whole mentality is, if you can sue them, why not? I think that is insane. They didn't even see your face. You're actually that I'm going to go off on that, and I'm just going to stop right now.
This is like
not worth it.
It's like when the fan in Philly was yelling at Ty Domi and then he fell into the box. It's like, well, now you're getting it. And he's like, no, now I'm suing you, Ty.
Yeah.
But
just
anyways, that's the story
stupid people out there. I couldn't believe that. Yeah. Yesteryear, we can talk about stupid fans and stupid lawsuits for another time, but we need to talk about the NBA All-Star game now that we have Brandon Ingram growing. You have Scotty Barnes. You have the entire Raptors coaching staff, including Raptors 905 head coach Darko Rajakovic. They will all be, Raptors 905 head coach Drew Jones, all coaching the world team during the All-Star game. You have former Raptors Pascal Siakam, Kawhi Leonard, Norman Powell, and even Jeremy Lin making an appearance this weekend. So Dan, I want to quickly go through the weekend of the All-Star because we have to talk about the Olympics, obviously. So let's start off with, let's just see what my notes actually say, what we're going to start first. Celebrity All-Star, which is Friday night. Who do you have winning MVP?
I mean, the soccer guy in me wants to say Cafu, like he's the most random player there. Like why, why is a Brazilian star from 20 years ago like playing in this NBA All-Star game? It makes zero sense. But shouts to Cafu, he was incredible. I'm gonna go with. Can I go with an ex-player? Like I'm going with White Chocolate, Jason Williams. That's my guy.
Oh, I'm going to go with someone on the same team, Andre DeGrasse, Canadian Olympic gold medalist, because he
Friend of the show.
used to play, friend of the show, used to play a lot of basketball. So we'll see. He even played against Andrew Wiggins and SGA. So we will see what happens there. Rising star
Him
competition.
teaching you how to sprint was a lot better than you learning how to speed skate, though.
You really going to shade me like
wanted
that?
Just wanted to throw that out there, just
I think
for no particular
anything
reason.
I've done in life was better than me trying to speed skate. And let me tell you, my DMs or people I saw in person made fun of me for it, but it proves just how hard speed skating truly is.
Yes.
Can't wait for you to try it, Dan. Rising star competition. We have a couple Raptors represented in here, including CMB as well as Elijah Martin. What squad do you think is going to take this?
I'm going to take Team T-Mac with Tracy McGrady, and he's led by Con Knippel, who's just going to rain threes down in this event.
I'm going to laugh right now at the chat right now because thank you for bringing up. There's a press release saying they have hundreds of influencers covering the weekend. I laughed at that press release. So I am going to the All-Star weekend. I am not an influencer. I'm leaving tomorrow night. I'll be there for the show.
I think you are.
But it's like, that's how you're going to promote it. And I know Adam Silver said that this is a league where it's like most people don't watch games. They just go online to watch social clips, which is true. But I will update everyone on Monday how many times I punched myself in the face for an influencer putting their camera in front of my face, or not my face, but like my shot, trying to get a quote. I'm already annoyed with it because that's me. Team Mello's who I'm picking. Saturday night, we have the 3-point competition. I'll let you know who I'm picking out of this because, yeah, there's some unique names, including Damian Lillard, who hasn't played an NBA game yet this season because he's injured. Norman Powell, he absolutely stunk up the court last year in San Francisco in the 3-point competition. It broke my heart. I spoke to him after about it. He was so disappointed. He's been making it rain. He had a personal best record. He had 9-1 games this year. He is ready. He's a new Papa Bear. I'm going with Norman Powell for the 3-point king. Dan, what do you got?
Give me the CanCon, Jamal Murray.
Ooh, I like that. Shooting stars competition, dunk competition. Oh my God.
Oh.
Dan, give me a rant on the dunk competition.
Who are these guys? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be like that guy, but like this is what the NBA and that's disrespectful to these players. They're incredible athletes. I know that. But like if we're going to be honest about it, no star has fallen bigger than the NBA dunk competition. Like I remember when they first brought it back and Vince won it that year, and that's where Air Canada really like popped off, right? Put the Raptors on the map. Like when that happened, Vince, like the dunk comp wasn't a thing. That it had gone away for a while, and Vince revived it, brought it back to life. And now it's kind of at that stage right now where it's hanging on by life support. Like guys that are in the league don't really want to do it. Stars in the league don't really want to do it. The 3-point contest has become the bigger event on All-Star weekend. And the dunk comp just doesn't have the same pull that it used to.
Oh, it absolutely does not. And you see them have miss after miss dunk, which I know has happened over the years. But Mac McClung, who struggled to get on an NBA roster, that's no disrespect to him. It's a tough league recently now with the Bulls recently playing in Toronto. Won it 3 years in a row. There's a lot of craft put into it, but he did have some great moments. But when you're looking at these NBA players, JAYS Richardson, who plays for the Orlando Magic, his dad actually won the dunk competition in 2002 and 2003. That's former NBA player Jason Richardson. When he was asked to do the dunk competition, he said he was surprised they asked him to do it. He doesn't have like basically a great track record this season. So if that's what one of your invitees is saying about participating in the dunk competition, cancel it. Or my suggestion.
Are you saying he's a Nepo baby? This is why he's
absolutely a Nepo baby. I think he even thinks he's a Nepo baby because he was surprised and didn't understand why they asked him. My solution for the NBA dunk competition, getting back to a memorable moment, have the shortest player on every team dunk or the head coaches. I don't care, because if they tear their ACL, it's not going to impact the team. They can still hobble courtside yelling at the refs. I'm here for it. Can you imagine Darko trying to tempt Windmill? Like, I would love to see that.
Okay. I'd sign up for it. I don't know if he can complete it, but I'd sign up for it. Sure.
You know what? We'll talk more NBA All-Star later on, but we quickly need to talk about Wemby hitting 40 points in 26 minutes. He will also be at the All-Star. This man is insane, and I'm so glad that we are in a lifetime right now that we are able to witness him play basketball.
Never mind 40 in the game, Linz. Did you see these stats? Like, he had, what was it, 25 points in 8 minutes or something? It was just like 8 minutes? 8 minutes. It's not even real. How do you do that? You're not human. Stop it. 8 minutes, 25 points. I know, I think Klay Thompson has the record. He put up insane amount of points in a short amount of time, but it was still you looked at the rest of his stats. He was just a bunch of rebounds and doing all these other things. And the way that this guy plays the game, man, he is just going to own the NBA for a very, very long time. He's a freak. He's the most incredible thing that professional sports has ever seen. He's not human.
I'm hoping we're seeing some not human things happen for Team Canada's women's hockey team in the Olympics, who yesterday were blanked by Team USA. But thankfully to you helped prepare me mentally going into the game. Yes, they are without captain MPP. I'm someone that my panic meter doesn't go from 0 to 100 right away. But watching that game, I'm at 101 because I know it's preliminary. But even without your captain, I'm not going to maybe say the effort. I'm just going to say they were overpowered on so many levels by USA's women's team. And it looks like MPP most likely will not play when they have their rescheduled preliminary match against Finland. So Dan, watching Team Canada's women's game, what was your reaction?
Since Gabby's not here, somebody's got to say it. That was a complete belt to ass performance by the Americans on the Canadians. It was, it wasn't even a contest. There was one team on the ice. And it's crazy that's where the gap has gone, because this has been one of the best rivalries in sports period for the longest time. How many of us have just looked forward to the next edition of Canada versus the US in women's hockey? But right now, after what happened in the rivalry series, there was a 10-1 game in the rivalry series, and what's continued to happen since what happened yesterday, it's hard to have confidence. Canada needs a miracle right now. The U.S. is it's not even a debate. The U.S. has the better team right now. They're faster. They're more skilled. They check all the boxes. Canada is going to need a miracle in the gold medal game. Should they get there and rematch with the U.S., it's going to take a monumental goalie performance. It's going to take everything that they've got to find a way to beat the U.S., because the recent history is that there is one clear best team in women's hockey, and it is the USA, not Canada. It's not. I hate it saying that. I hate it saying that.
I know. And the thing is, it's the reality check. And then that's something that I say often. I'm back to life, back to reality. And you're absolutely right. And we're going to talk so much more hockey over the next couple of days, especially for the Olympics. And just a friendly reminder, go check out Daily Faceoff on YouTube, because men's hockey preview, they have a great preview on their channel right now. The first game is today between Finland and Slovakia. Check out Daily Faceoff's YouTube channel. Some great insight there. I just have a quick Italy question for you, Dan. Do you think Team Italy's men's hockey team will have the biggest upset in the Olympics and win their game today?
They go up against Sweden. I mean, it's possible. Cristiano Di Giacinto is going to be, he's going to be all over the place. Tommaso De Luca, Alex Patan, you got some really good players on that Italian squad. Damian Clada is probably going to have to have a big game in net, but I think Team Italy's going to be up against it. The women have done really well on the Italian side. They're going through the knockout stages, so some good vibes over there for the Azzurri. But maybe on the men's side they can pull off a big upset too.
That would be absolutely crazy if it happened, but I'm hoping it happens for Team Italy. We will have a great discussion about Team Canada's men's hockey team tomorrow on our show, but we need to take a moment right now to talk about one of the craziest post-Olympic interviews that happened by an athlete. This is a Norwegian athlete after they won bronze. What sport was that in? I can't remember now that we get here because this is biathlete. Yeah, they won bronze for this.
Biathlete, that's right.
Biathlete, yeah. And in their post-game interview for a Norwegian TV network, they spoke about how it's a sad moment right now because 6 months ago they met the love of their life. He said 3 months ago he cheated on her. So in this moment, it's like the worst week of his life.
Yeah.
Idiot. Okay. Sorry. I have a lot
Thanks
to say.
Thanks for airing your dirty laundry with the entire world, bud.
Yeah. So to update that, the woman does not want to be named. They would tracked her down on another Norwegian TV station saying, of course they did. Really, she's not happy. She did not put herself in this situation. He did. He's aware of her feelings. They've spoken. And he has went on to say how he kind of regrets airing it out to the world. So
shocker.
She says it's hard to forgive him and for making a public display of it after he won an Olympic medal. So I would just like to say two quick things and get your thoughts on this.
Yes.
One,
please.
I feel like because this was such a spectacle, somehow that bozo will be named like Bachelor or some of those dumb reality shows. He will be the lead in it because he proclaimed his love for the woman of his life after winning a bronze medal, something he's worked his entire life for. Bro, you worked your entire life for that moment to get a bronze. You met a woman 6 months ago and saying she was the love of your life 3 months in, and then went and was a complete moron in your life choices and cheated on her. But the thing that I can't wrap my head around, I am happily married. And yes, it clearly was love at first sight because my husband is a babe. But 6 months in, you're like trying to give up your whole world and you win a bronze medal. You need to check yourself. That's insane. I actually am starting to worry about his mental sanity. If your whole life is revolving around somebody that 3 months in you cheated on, you idiot. Anyways,
the love of your life. Yeah, you cheated on them. Hey, we don't know the full story, but we know enough. Obviously, he did something wrong here. So I don't get it, man. This is peak levels of desperation. He has pulled every other trick. He's sent flowers, he sent chocolates, probably knelt at her doorstep and trying to say I'm sorry into the ring camera. He's done everything and is out of answers. Maybe take the hint. You screwed this up to the point of no return, going on national television in Norway and now becoming a viral moment across the globe to air out your dirty line. You've just made the situation worse. This is like a guy taking his girl to a sports event, and this is where I want to propose. Okay, that's where you want to propose. Is that where she wants you to propose to her? This is not.
Oh my God, a man of reason. Reach is a man of reason. What a freaking moron. But I'm calling it now to everyone listening, everyone in the chat. He's going to get his own reality show where he's the Bachelor and he'll hand out gold or bronze medals rather. Or maybe a show called Biggest Bozos.
A Norwegian biathlete. That would be great. You've just given them a great idea.
Yeah, we want our percentage on this. But speaking of great ideas, I'm hoping you have a great one for the ProLine pick of the day. Because what? The new ProLine app, it's here. And if you think you knew ProLine, think again. This ain't the old ProLine. The new ProLine app is here. Betting online with ProLine Plus and betting in store with ProLine are easier than ever with the new app, which has more sports, more leagues, and more markets than ever. So you can even get same-day parlays, your favorite sports, more of them. Dan, what do we got today?
I am fired up for the men's Olympic hockey tournament to get going. So we are looking at that. It is Team Sweden taking on Team Italy. And as much as I would love to see the Italians pull off the upset, I'm going to go with a William Nylander anytime goal for Sweden. His status is up in the air, but he was playing on the power play today. So I do think he is going to get in the game. Nylander, anytime goal. He's fired up to play for his Tre Conor and suited up for Team Sweden. So let's go with a Willie goal today for the Pro Line pick.
I'm hoping that's the only goal that happens and Italy scores 5,000. Just 5,000. Yes. I don't know. I'm still upset about that idiot. Oh my God. I can't imagine that girl's phone, like, say they're like, hey, why did you guys break up? And they're like, oh, just, differences. And like, no, he went and put his thing where he shouldn't have. But anyways, can you end off this show, Dan, with a video that is hockey related? I censored myself there.
Yes, I know you did. I'm proud of you, Linz. Okay. So we've been a little bit void of hockey content in the evenings because the NHL is off. So the AHL took center stage after, the women struggled against the US yesterday in the games. But looking at the highlights on Twitter and in the AHL All-Star game, Ben Berard, pride of Vancouver Island, pulls off this sorcery. What is this? I had to watch this 12 times to figure out what in the actual bleep he pulled off here to get that blade upright like that and then go upstairs, flicking it up. This is, I know we're starting to see like the craziness of hockey goals and what these guys can do with the puck on their sticks. But this is Datsukian times a million, like Pavel Datsuk had some of the craziest shootout goals of all time. This is, and I know it's an all-star game, but like Ben Berard, take a bow. I am
shook by this. The backward hat, cool guy also. That was my mind is blown by that. It was absolute sorcery.
He is Harry Potter.
He is Harry Potter. Before we go, I'll let you know that Harry Potter is not in my dog's name. My dog is celebrating her 6th birthday today. Dan, what's my dog's name?
Sophia Michael Jackson something or other.
Inside joke, I said, my dog's real name is Sophia Michael Jordan Keith Richards Dunn Peterson. And before the show, he's like, Michael Jackson, Aaron Carter. I'm like, Aaron Carter out of this. Like, what? But
I wasn't gonna Sophie. Oh, look at Sophia.
I'm giving myself wife of the year gift because for Christmas, I actually got this custom shirt for my husband because the love of his life is our dog, Sophia.
That's lovely.
She's a real G. And I know he's not watching right now, so I'll tell you what I did for her birthday. She does not get human food. So I love potato chips. I ate my regular breakfast of some potato chips, put a napkin on the floor, and I put the shrapnels there for her to eat.
Oh.
Best day ever.
Sophia loves you again.
Yeah, that's so true until he comes back. But
I'm also proud of you for not putting a one of her pooping pictures on the T-shirt. That's very nice of you.
Dan, I'm going to do that for your birthday. How dare you ruin the surprise? We're going to have matching T-shirts. Oh, no poop emojis on this show, though, because another banger episode. We talked Blue Jays. We talked everything. We talked about crazy, dumb people in the Olympics, just making bad life choices, but also a lot of Raptors news, which will continue tomorrow. Lots of Olympic hockey talk because big game tomorrow. But thank you for joining us for today's episode of Off the Roster. Happy birthday, Sophia. She don't know what I said.
Hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more Off the Roster content, make sure to like and hype this video and subscribe to the Nation Network YouTube channel.